Welcome back to the Seven Deadly Sins Anime Review, episode number 19. This is being the 65th episode of the anime, The Almighty versus the Great Evil. Yeah, that's a very awesome title for this episode. At least got to hand it to Studio Dean for picking out a great title for this particular episode. Now, here's the thing about this episode. There's a couple different sites I have watched it. They usually watch the site on. Usually I'll watch it on one site, I'm not going to say the name of it. The other one basically is a very legal site. It's watchcartoononline.io. I am going to say it because it's a very legal site. And it's pretty reliable. It's not a pirated site like the other ones I've seen. Now, I watched this one on YouTube. And it seems like, though, that either one, that people who basically put this episode up probably improved the animation from the last episode, or this is what Studio Dean put up. I mean, if you look at, let's say, if anybody watched the first episode this year for Case Closed, it's like the animation was a step up from the previous episode. Yep. Now, adaptation-wise, this one supposedly covers chapters 231 to 234, finishing up the Conrad arc and starting the Prelude New Holy War arc. Yep. Now, from what I can tell from the remaining three chapters, they did pretty much finish up adapting 231 in the opening, couple minutes of the episode just before the opening credits of the episode. Though, because it's on YouTube, they cut out the song, which I kind of get the reason why they decided not to include it, because I have listened to it. It's an okay song. It's not as great as the opening theme songs they have for the first two seasons of the show. And my guess is probably starting with next week, we're going to get a new opening title sequence, because that's the interesting thing you could say about Seven Deadly Sins. Because the past two seasons have been 24 episodes. First 12 episodes is one theme song, and then starting with the second half, we get a new song. So we might get a new song next week. It's possible. Yep. And when it came to adapting chapter 234, they kind of mostly did a pretty good job adapting this one. They cut out 2 full pages of this damn thing, and they also cut out a couple portions of a couple pages, but they adapted pretty much everything there. Now, what happened to this episode? Well, we kind of picked up where last week's episode left off, where Meliodas, in his demon mode, stabbed Escanor. Yep. And it turned to a full-out brawl between the two. And, of course, he's getting stronger and stronger. Now, they did tone out a little bit of blood here. There's still blood. I give props to the fact that he kept all the blood in. But it seems like they toned it down a bit, because in the manga, basically, when they showed the blood here, it's a bit over the top. Here, they kind of tone it down, but not too much. Now, I know they've been accused of toning the blood way too much in this particular season so far. This episode, they tone it a little bit, but at least they go over the top with it. And, everybody, I think it was Bond wants to interfere, or at least help them, but no, Merlin says, nope, let them finish up. And, of course, Escanor keeps getting stronger and stronger. Yeah, at one point, his shirt is pretty much destroyed during the fight, because he keeps getting bigger and beefier. He got stabbed multiple times, and he does pretty much nearly defeat Meliodas. And he defeats him after a long, grueling battle with him. Meliodas also loses his vest, his cool vest he had. And apparently, when he turned back to his demon, he apparently got new clothes for some reason. Yeah, they do kind of explain in the episode. Apparently, Demon King decided to take away his emotions. Yeah, even the manga, this wasn't properly explained. At some point, Demon King has the ability to do this. I'm not sure how, but he does. Oh, in case you wonder what the heck the guy looks like, he's basically takes the form of a bearded old man. Appearance-wise, he does not look very threatening, but he's very powerful. That's the thing with Demon King. Yep. And they talk about sealing the episode. Talk about that in a minute. Now, after they wrap up the fight, they do pretty much have some war changes here and there, because I'm reading from the manga translation published by Kosha Comics, where basically I'm reading from this. Now, what I saw from the sub, they did make some word changes here and there, but That was not a problem. Visually wise, there wasn't really much change here. I would say the only really major change they make to this thing, first change they made, is that when they had Meliodas get sliced, like, it's still the same effect as is in the manga, except that there's still a lot of blood here, but not as much as in the manga. The manga was like he was pouring buckets out of his belly. Yeah. Which, I don't mind Studio Dean toning that down. It's fine. Yep. And then, of course, after Merlin was defeated, Merlin walks up to Escanor, punches him. Now, in the anime, they kind of changed the spot where she hit him. In the manga, it's right in the middle of his chest. In the anime, it's right in the belly. It's a minor change, but it's fine. And then, of course, well, there's some wording change here. Mostly it's the same exact scene, except they kind of switched it out. And they also mentioned about combat class. Yeah, during the fight. They actually made it part of basically characters talking, and instead basically like kind of like narration talking over an actual fight like it is in the manga. That change actually is fine. I don't have a really big problem with it. My guess, because it's an anime, it's perfectly fine. Also, the only visual changes I saw for what they adapted from chapters 231, 233 is that some things are basically told in reverse. Yeah, it's like they just took the image and flipped it in a mirror. Which, that's okay for an anime to do. It's perfectly fine. I've got no problem with it. One good example of this is basically King looking at the helmet that belonged to his best friend who gave it to him before he passed away. Now, in the manga, basically, he's holding in different direction in the manga. In the anime, now, in the manga, it's basically kind of like facing kind of like this way, like the moon is facing toward the right. In the anime, it's facing toward the left. Anybody who's read the manga probably knows, so yeah, this is a minor change. It's a minor visual change. But the effect is still pretty much the same. Yep. And then they get to, like, inside the boar's hut, and scene's pretty much the same. Minus some more changes, like they change where Escanor's like wounds are basically more. They say that Escanor's wounds are fatal, and that Meliodas' situation is more dangerous than his is. And he does wake up like he does in the manga. Elizabeth basically stays with him, while Merlin basically sort of in a way traps him behind like a cube. And let's just see. There's also another word change here. Like in the manga, she says, "I'll keep a constant watch." And the anime says, "I'll keep my eye on you." Still pretty much the same effect, but still pretty good. And then we have sort of a cutaway to Camelot. Now, here's where some of the other changes they make to this episode. Like, we have Merlin's little eye creature, who's basically wandering on Camelot, is stalked by a creature who's running, a demon who's running, and he gets sliced up by Arthur. And then we don't see the creature again. In the anime, in the manga, you do see the creature. Apparently, he didn't really do anything to it. He just basically just knocked it out. In anime, he sliced it in half. And he takes the creature to the underground, which still same effect. And there's a couple other changes they do here. I'll get to that. Now they just basically he jumps down the ladder like he does in the manga. That's still pretty much the same. Yeah, it's like an underground, which I'm like seeing like, okay, metal bars. That's something they did not have that I can think of in the Middle Ages from information I've seen. Yeah, they never really had ladders like this. Usually ladders back then made of wood, not metal. Why in the world they decided to use a modern equivalent of a sewer ladder, I have no idea. My only guess is because even though it's the style of it is medieval, is like the Middle Ages, but it's a minor thing. Heck, they had this in the manga too. And then they just run down, like, they just walk down. Of course, Arthur disappears. Yeah, in the manga, it doesn't really explain. It's like, just goes along a hole, opens the door, sees his subjects, happy to see him. There's a woman with, looks like platinum blonde hair who might have a thing from Merlin. Doesn't really go anywhere. Yep. And they talk about basically, and then of course, the knight who showed up during that festival from the previous season, he shows up here, and apparently he's teaching Arthur probably swordsmanship. Yeah. And now in the anime, they actually, this is another change they made. This is okay change that when you first see him, you have Arthur saying his name while at him. In the manga, it's like, oh, hi. Yeah, his name was Nezel, I think his name is. And talking about basically how Demon Seal is breaking in. Of course, 55 demons were released. He says, "I've killed twice as much." Now they actually cut this out of they cut this out of the anime because in the manga it takes course of 2 pages of the chapter. Yeah, they cut out the pages of Arthur. Apparently had killed looks like about 10 demons. Yeah, killed a lot of really big ones. And this change I kind of get. But I guess for some people who probably love seeing this in the manga, seeing a bunch of dead demons, my guess is because it was too grotesque and because different network, they probably said, no, we're cutting this portion out. I'm not sure if the writer of the series, Namaga Suzuki, I'm not sure if he had a say in that particular visual change. I'm sure he didn't mind it at all, as long as the episodes were not good. Yep. And pretty much they have set up for pretty much like what we're going to see for Prelude to New Holy War. Yep, because this portion of the episode is the start of the Prelude to New Holy War arc. Yep. Excuse me. How long is this arc in the manga? This arc is roughly 23 chapters. Yeah, 23 chapters. Yep. And with this episode, there is exactly 22 left. So this arc probably would take up the rest of the season. I have no idea. It's possible, yes. And they've already adapted 2 arcs already for the season. So either one of the things might happen. That this arc will pretty much take up the rest of the season, which is possible. Or 2, yeah. So, yeah, this is my personal guess anyways, that this arc will pretty much take up the rest of the season. And my guess is for when they do the next season, which probably the 4th season of the series, probably will be New Holy War arc. Really, really long. Yeah, New Holy War, in case you're wondering, is 50 chapters. Yeah, 50 chapters. Long arc. Like, oh my gosh, this arc is so freaking long. 50 freaking chapters. Yeah, that enough will take up an entire season right there. Yeah, but that's it for this particular review. Oh, in case you're wondering, in case there's any new chapter came out, I've checked. I haven't seen any. Yeah, it has a new chapter released in like 2 weeks now. Yeah, and like with My Hero Academia, I'm basically kind of forced to resurrect the specials, even though I was going to hold off on the specials until the season's over with. But the sites I've been using have not been uploading the chapters for some reason. Yeah, I have no idea why this is. Yep. So yeah, that's it for Secret Film. I'm going to try to do one more review tonight, and I'll hopefully review Rama. I'm going to finish up an episode for it, and then I'll do my review of the. I'm going to do a review of not 5 episodes, but 7. Okay? Do some next review. Bye.